power.
Curfews, riot police, tear gas. In the end, nothing could hold back the human tide. Protesters storming the presidential palace in Colombo, taking naps, snapping selfies, even throwing a pool party. A rare taste of luxury in a country that has all but collapsed.
The air conditions are running in that presidential palace while people don't have electricity in their homes.
When you see the luxuries in this house, it is obvious that they don't have time to work for the country.
Elsewhere in the Sri Lankan capital, the Prime Minister's private residence went up in flames. In the southern city of Galle, a surreal spectacle as the second test between Australia and Sri Lanka continued amidst the turmoil. Extraordinary scenes triggered by an extraordinary crisis.
It's amazing because there is no transport available. There's no petrol and diesel in the country.
And they were walking for hours to reach the epicenter of the protest site.
Since defaulting on its loans back in May, the Sri Lankan economy has entered a death spiral. As inflation passes 50% and foreign currency reserves evaporate, the country is unable to afford fuel, food and medicine. Schools have closed, society has ground to a halt, and more than a quarter of the country's 22 million people are in need of urgent humanitarian assistance. Protesters holding one man responsible for the catastrophe.
It's time that we got all our stolen money back to this country.
Leave the country. You can't govern this country properly.
People feel that they have mismanaged and, in a way, looted, robbed the country, and they want them to go. They want the president to go.
With President Rajapaksa finally pledging to step down this Wednesday, they'll get their wish.
That's a long time away considering the tenuous situation on the ground.
To rebuild Sri Lanka, an IMF bailout package worth more than $4 billion remains the last best hope. But first, the country needs to be pulled back from the brink of anarchy.
So next couple of days, next couple of hours are extremely critical in Sri Lanka.
Cathy Cruse is an Aussie currently in Colombo. Cathy, you actually took part in those protests. What was it like?
It was quite incredible, the amount of people that were there and the amount of people who were just basically saying enough is enough and we need to do something about this. There was tens of thousands just coming from everywhere. Mothers, fathers, children, Buddhist monks, Catholic priests, nuns, every walk of life was there.
We've heard about the food shortages, fuel and medicine shortages. Just how bad has it actually become?
You know, it's really bad. I've been coming for 36 years and, we lived here for a few years with the kids. The kids went to school here. Even during the height of the war, people still had food to eat. There was petrol, gas, they had kerosene to cook with. And now the queues for petrol go 2-3 kilometres from every single petrol station all over the country. There's gas cylinders that, they line up their gas cylinders waiting to have them refilled. And those lines go on for, nearly a kilometre. And food, we went out, we were working with Bashan Mahanama, one of the ex-cricketers, just to give out some food parcels. And it was just heartbreaking. It was just a drop in the ocean. We gave out 700 parcels and instead of walking away feeling good that you'd done some small thing, you felt hopeless. You just thought, well, they've got something today, but what about tomorrow and the next day? I've never seen it so bad. They can't get milk powder for babies. They can't get medicines. They've got nothing to cook their food with. They have no petrol, so they can't go to work. It's just, it's just one crisis after another.
Cathy, I think from afar, it's very difficult at times for Australians to understand how these things come to be, and it is a complex journey that Sri Lanka's been on. But one of the outcomes clearly is that people want to leave, and that obviously has flow-on effects here in Australia. Can you understand why more people might be willing to get on a boat and try to leave Sri Lanka?
Absolutely. If I was living here and if I was one of those people, I would want to leave. I would want to take my family to somewhere where they could get at least one meal a day. We have a restaurant in Melbourne and some of our chefs are former refugees, spent 7 years in refugee camps. I don't blame them. I would try anything if I couldn't feed my family.
The President and the Prime Minister going obviously is a significant development, but does that necessarily turn this situation around?
No, and that's the thing. We were talking with friends last night, and they're saying that, okay, the protests achieved the outcome that they wanted by getting rid of this family, the Rajapaksa family, who've done nothing but steal money for the time they've been in government. But the people waiting in the wings to come up, they're just as bad and they're just as corrupt. So you can't see who's going to come and lead the country and do it for the good of the people and not for how much money they're going to make. There's no one worthy of taking over at the moment.
Well, Cathy, make sure you stay safe, and thank you so much for speaking with us.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.